So the Put Your Shoes On challenge. Everybody's talking about it. It's going viral and it's the big thing right now. Everybody's doing the Put Your Shoes On challenge. This is where you come up to your children and you be like, hey, there's somebody out there trying to fight me and they got a son or a daughter, depending on what your child is. And you tell them, put shoes on because I'm going to fight this person. And if their child jump in, I'm going to need you to fight to see what their children are going to do. And, they think this is cute. They think this is cool. You get a lot of mixed reactions. You got some people who don't entertain it. You got other people who think it's cute. And I just want to say, man, that these are the same type of situations that teach our children the wrong way to go about things. This is the same people who will tell their children to do as I say, not as I do. These are the same people who, when their children talk back and cuss and sing all the rap lyrics and stuff like that, they think it's cute and they put it online. And then when that child grows up to be somebody that they can't handle and somebody that's wild and out of control, then all of a sudden they play innocent like they don't know what went wrong with that child. These are the same people, the ones who are doing this put your shoes on challenge. Yeah, I'm not putting my children in that type of situation, whether it's made up or what, because this is a type of programming. This is something that they would do in the military just to test to see where your heart really was. And they're doing that for a purpose. They're gathering intel to know who will be willing to let that thing go and who not willing to let that thing go. I'm not worried about those things in my children. When I was raising my sons to protect their sisters, because, my sons are big physical specimens. And so I taught my sons to take up for their sister, protect the honor of their mothers and their sisters and stuff like that. But as far as going out and helping me fight and getting into a situation, what kind of example am I showing for that kid? I'm showing that kid that it's okay to go and pull somebody else into your situation that may potentially get them killed. But there's a lot of people out here who do that to their homies all the time. And they swear up and down, this my dude, this my brother, and I got his back and I love him. But yet and still, you'll go and start some bull crap and then go and get the same person who you swear that you love so much and you'll give your life for, and you put them in a situation to where they can lose their life. These are the same people who think that this go put your shoes on challenge is cute. We talk about the situation right now in the Black community. Well, this is a big contribution to the situation in the Black community. Parents thinking it's cute that their kids doing all of this toxic, crazy stuff. And I've said this before, when you a child and you do certain things, you can't do a lot of damage. You don't have the strength and you don't have the mentality to really do the type of damage that you want to do. But then as you get older and you get stronger and now you're able to really do some damage. So if you have this mentality that you're justified in doing this and you've grown up now and you got a man's body, but you still have an underdeveloped mind. You still have a child's mind. And this is where we are as far as physical development nowadays. We talk about it all the time, how the children have fully developed and fully grown bodies, but their minds are still underdeveloped. And so you will take somebody as being an adult because they have all of the physical attributes of an adult. The hair on the face, I got sons, some of my sons look older than me. If it had not been for the gray in my beard and stuff, a couple of my sons look older than me. And, these are the things that we take into consideration. But at the same time, you have to understand that we're dealing with children. They may have this physical specimen of a body and they may have a man's body and physique and stature. But when it comes down to the mind, they're still a child. And so these are the things that we have to keep in mind at all times. back in the day, back in the 80s and the 90s, whenever Hillary Clinton was a senator and whenever Joe Biden was a senator, they did everything within their power and their narrative shaping to call our children super specimens, super gangsters, super thugs. That was the term that they used, super thugs. So now they've placed this label on our children. Yeah, your little 13, 14-year-old son that you don't see as any harm, they see him as a super thug. They see him as a super criminal, not just your average criminal. They saying your child is Lex Luthor. They saying that your child is Joker. Your child is Penguin. Your child is what's old girl Harley Quinn. These are what they're making our children out to be, super villains. And this started in the 80s and 90s. And so they've had all of these years to cultivate that narrative and that lie about our children. That's why today you see police officers so hostile towards our children, our Black children, because we allow people like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton to push the narrative that our 14 and 15-year-old sons are super villains. Yeah, that's what we allowed. And so now we have our children out here and they're being targeted. Why? Because when they was little babies, you thought it was cute when they was pulling guns and shooting at people. You thought it was cute when they was cussing people out and calling people bees and calling your friends bees and calling your homeboys nigga and all saying all the little slang stuff and throwing up the gang signs. All of that was cute when they was 2 and 3, 4 years old. But now they grown up and they throwing them gang signs for real because they've accepted that lifestyle. And now they're out there doing everything that they was taught that the gang should do, and you can't stop them. You can't control it. But it was cute when they was little. Oh, ain't that so cute? That baby, look at that baby. That baby's so crazy. Yeah, all of that stuff right there. You didn't take into consideration until they got older and they started embarrassing you. And now when people speak about your child, they speak about all of the dirt that your child is out here doing in the streets, and you embarrassed because he's not honoring your name or she's not honoring your name. But you have to look at your role in that. Put shoes on. These people out here trying to fight me, and if they kids jump in, I'm gonna need you to jump in too. That right there is exactly why we have these different programs for young men to try to get them on the right track and get some structure in their life. Because their parents thought it was cute when they was little until they got to the point to where they couldn't handle them no more. And then they sending them to programs. Now they're sending them to therapeutic boarding schools and all of these different places to teach the structure that they are not equipped to teach. The structure that they were not willing to put and establish in their household. So now they're going to pay out all of this money for somebody else to do their parenting for them. I'm not talking about something I heard. I'm not talking about a hypothesis. I worked in this field for over 3 years after I got out of the military, mentoring young men in the boarding school. So I'm talking from experience, firsthand account. I've seen the family interactions. I've seen the lack of concern in parents. I've seen parents who did not know what they were doing at all as a parent. They knew how to go and have unprotected sex and make babies, but they absolutely had zero ideas on how to be a parent. I've seen all of these scenarios, firsthand account, eyewitness. So I ain't on here talking about hypotheticals. Everything I say can be checked and verified. But my point is this: we continue to instill these toxic traits into our children, thinking that it's cute. Think about 10 years ahead. Think about 15, 20 years ahead when that kid's actually grown and he still believes what you told him at 4 or 5 years old. because you didn't know any better. And then if you happen to learn better at some point, you didn't go back and correct that with your child because you want your child to still see you as somebody who knows it all. You want your child to see you as somebody who has the right answer every time they come to you. And so you will neglect correcting something with your child because you don't want to know that you don't want your child to know that you was in error, and that would take away from the respect that they have for you. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you have a teenage child, they gonna lose respect for you regardless of what you do. Period, point blank, until they come to the understanding and maturity and go out into life and experience a couple of things to where they be like, man, daddy wasn't lying or mama wasn't lying. But they have to go through that process. Every single child do. And so we're going to have to stop trying to be our children's friend. And we're going to have some foresight to think about what are we imparting in our child and what is that child going to become in the future based on what he's seen from me. Anytime I see my son out here doing some stupid stuff, I immediately think, did he see me do this? Did he see anybody around us do this? Where did this mindset come from that he's operating in right now? I ask those questions immediately to myself because I always want my kids to know that if I erred in my teaching, I'm a big enough man to come back and say, hey, I was wrong. Good morning, Markrina. Markrina, good to see you. Good to see you. Blessings, sis. Blessings, sis. And so what I'm saying is this, when we talk to our children, whenever we instruct our children, and whenever we're doing things around our children, we have to be mindful. They're sponges. They pick up on everything. And that whole do as I say, not as I do concept, that's done. That's out of the window. We know for a fact that don't work. It was done in my generation and generations before me, and it never worked because I always did what I saw everybody else doing. Never what they told me not to do. If you told me not to do something, well, now I have the question, why don't you want me to do it, but it's okay for you? Well, now I have to check this out because now they're hiding something from me. We're curious. We're explorers, we are conquerors, and so we are automatically going to be drawn to what's forbidden to us. That's an adventure in my mind. And so I'm going to go for that. And so when you think about your children, the things that you do and how they affect them, I'm not saying be a perfect parent and don't make any mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all still learning as parents. But what I'm saying is, use it as a teaching moment and be willing to show your child humility in letting them know that you was wrong and that need to be corrected not only in you, but in them as well. You're doing your child a great disservice if you're not willing to do that. One of the greatest gifts that you can give your children is to show them humility and to show them conflict resolution and show them how to deal with confrontation. These are some things that you can equip your child with, and they seem like basic things, but they are guidelines to take them through life. It's just that simple. And, somebody trying to call me right now. Hold up, I'm gonna have to call you back. It's probably my son or my daughter, one of my sons or my daughters from North Carolina. I'll call him back in a minute, but yeah, real talk. We have to make sure that the things that we are imparting in our children are things that's going to be beneficial to them throughout their lives, because all of the bad things that they pick up from us and then they go on to repeat them in their lives, that's basically what a generational curse is. That's something that you never dealt with and you never overcame in your life, and so your child picked up on that too. And that goes back to the show that I was doing the other day when I was talking about how we constantly curse ourselves. And that is one of the tricks of the enemy that he used to always keep the people down. You said, but Matt, people let the social media develop their children too, which is bad. Absolutely. And then that just reinforces the point because they're on social media trying to get their kids to do all of this toxic stuff just so they can get a bunch of likes and a bunch of views. And they just reinforcing the fact that they believe in the internet, they believe in social media. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. They let the social media raise their kids, but it's the same way as the last couple generations let television programming raise the kids. It's just a different it's just a different device. That's all. But we're still stuck in that cube. I forgot who I was talking to, and they broke it down real smooth. And it was like, if you look at television programming, it's that cube. You're in that box. You're stuck in that box, and they don't want you to think outside of that box. That's why they spend so much money to paint narratives. And so they always want you thinking inside of that box, that cube that they have to push forth all of their imagery and their narrative for influence. Same thing with these phones. It's just a different box. It's just a different cube, but they always want us thinking inside of this box. Anything that we say or do outside of this box, then they're going to try to stop that. They're going to not let it get picked up in the algorithm. They're going to strike it or whatever they can do to try to suppress that message because you're thinking outside of the box, which is this cube that we've transferred to from television programming to the actual social media and the phone devices and all this stuff. So we're still in the cube. We're still stuck thinking inside of this. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody is stuck thinking inside of the box because there's still people out here like Markrina, like Truth Lady, like a bunch of other different people who are still thinking outside of the box. And it's problematic for our content, as you can see. If you look at the numbers, if people really valued and really did what they claimed they were doing as far as trying to become better people, then there wouldn't be such a disparity in the actions and the wording that they use. If people were really trying to become better people and they were really trying to build and really trying to help other people, then we wouldn't see so much of the tearing down and we wouldn't see so much of the negativity. And so people's words are not lining up with what they claim. You know, you get out here, if you say that you're helping people, but I constantly see you stabbing people, I'm not going to believe that narrative about you. You know, and that's just what it is. So we have to get past our own selfishness because that's what this Put Your Shoes On challenge is. It's selfishness. It's actual selfishness. You want your child to be seen, oh, that's a savage right there. Oh, I want that kid in my class. He ready to go. He on go. I've seen all of the different comments, and I've seen all of the parents encouraging wanting their children to go out there and be ready to fight. I started looking at it, and I started to get involved, and I would make my little statements and stuff. But overall, man, we're wrong, and we have to admit that we're wrong. I know 100% that, you know, this is not going to turn out well for people because God forbid, one of these kids get into an actual fight and they take that same concept that you used on them for that video and didn't take the time to explain or clarify what was going on. And they take that concept and they go to school and something pop off and they go get their friends. All right, I'm going to fight this person. And if their friends jump in, I'm going to need you to jump in. And then that whole scenario goes wrong. Somebody gets hurt, maybe even killed. And you can't put that past not even a elementary schooler now. We see children as young as elementary age who are out here murdering. And so this plays into the whole bully concept that I've always spoke about, and America always pushes this bully narrative. America always pushes this bully mentality, and they support it and they promote it, but then they'll turn around and speak against it whenever it kills a whole classroom full of children. They'll turn around and try to denounce it whenever an innocent person out here lose their life because of it. But in every image on here, And everything that they promote and everything that they expose you to and everything that people are attracted to is that bully culture, that bully mentality. And this put your shoes on challenge is just one more way of them reinforcing bullying. Some people may not see it that way. That's fine for you, but I see the connection. Just because you don't see the connection don't mean that it ain't there. And so that's just where I stand on it, man. Y'all chill with this bully challenge. That's what it really should be called. Y'all chill with this bully challenge. No, we're not putting our shoes on to go do nothing. If my kids putting their shoes on, come on, let's go walk to the library so we can get some books. I'm going to show you how to check books out of the library. Come on, let's walk down to the park just so we can talk, just so I can have a close bond with my child and you know your dad. And we just build this rapport with each other. Come on, put your shoes on. I'm getting ready to take y'all over here, and we're gonna go and get us some fresh vegetables out of this garden. Y'all don't know nothing about this. This is from my age. Those are the things I'm gonna tell my children to put their shoes on for. But it ain't gonna be to go and fight nobody. You know, I always teach my kids, take care of yourself and protect yourself, and don't let nobody be beating on you. And if somebody starts something, you finish it. But I never, ever promote my children to go out looking for violence. Protect yourself. Yeah, you always got to protect yourself because there's people out here who are not going to stop. And if they see that you're willing to take the high road, that'll just fuel them to act more of a fool. And sometimes you have no other choice but to raise your hands and defend yourself. Make that perfectly clear with my children. But at no time am I going to tell them, yeah, go down there and beat their ass. No, we're not doing that. I don't put my friends in that type of danger. I definitely won't put my children in that type of danger, especially knowing that their generations is the ones who like to do this and don't like to do this. Why? Why would I even put that in their minds that that's something to go and do? Now you're giving your child a pass to go out here and get their life taken. Now, some people might say I'm taking it to the extreme. I may be, but guess what? I have to because we're in extreme time, and these scenarios that we call extreme are absolutely relevant and that absolutely can take place. We've seen time and time again, we've seen some of the dumbest reasons for a person losing their life out here in these streets. So let's not act like that this is not something that can happen, especially if we don't clarify to our children what our point is and what our purpose is. So let's not keep getting caught up in these challenges and stuff like that, because our children deserve better. They deserve a proper upbringing. They deserve right teaching. And then if you don't give them that right teaching and they go out and make these errors, at least be man or woman enough to say, okay, baby, well, I didn't teach you right in that area. I was lacking right there. And that's probably why you are not prepared in this area. So let's sit down together and go over why this was stupid. And I'm going to tell you why I was in error and didn't bother to tell you that that was error teaching. We have to have that humility nowadays with our children. If we don't, then they're going to lose respect for you regardless. So that's where I'm at with that. This is your boy D-Mac, man. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones. And man, it's super hot out here in Texas. But the word can always heal you. I'm out.